Thank you, sir. Good evening, Chairman Lateef, members of the school board, and Dr. Waltz. My name is Brian Gorham. I'm an administrative coordinator with Facility Services, and I have the honor tonight of presenting to you an update on our energy conservation program. Objectives of the program help prioritize common sense, facility operation with fiscal stewardship. As the energy manager, I've stated that I feel our role is to foster collaboration. I think we've done a pretty good job of that as a school division over the past 5 years. Now entering into technically our 6th and 7th years of the program, we are looking forward to having additional support that we are providing to site-based management and our energy education coordinators, some of which are here tonight, are developing meaningful relationships with our facility users, and that includes students and adults. The energy management program in Prince William is multifaceted. It involves all of the different departments within facility services, but also touches on all of the other departments throughout the entire school division. Our approach consists of stewardship and conservation. We improve the culture of sustainability through education and the infrastructure, and we try to affect change at all levels of the school division. This year, we concluded a partnership with Synergistic, which was a behavioral energy management program with a shared savings approach. Our savings over the period of the contract were $27 million. Now all of those savings that we had otherwise shared with our partner accrue and go towards Prince William County Schools, and we're very proud of that. But that's not to say those are the only savings that we have in mind. So I'm going to present to you tonight some other opportunities that we see will be beneficial to the school division without having to be shared with a contract partner. A recap, if you will, of our utility expenditures. In 2011, utility expenditures were $22.3 million. As you can see, there's been a steady decline of those over the years, and that is while we have also increased our square footage of space. So we continue that trend. I probably wouldn't put the slide up if it was bad news, so we're doing a good job as a school division to continue to conserve and be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars in operating our facilities. Utility expenditures per foot, again, just a different way to tell the story, a different narrative. We've added over 1.4 million square feet of occupied space since 2011. In 2011, the cost per square foot for utilities was $2.30. With a steady decline over the years, in 2018, we estimate the cost per square foot will remain at about $1.75. This is an increase or decrease of 54 cents per square foot and about a 22% improvement. Cost per student is always relevant in the discussion. We've added additional 10,000 students since 2011, each equally deserving of a world-class education. But as you know, as homeowners, this is also a place where you will expend a significant amount of energy in HVAC, lighting. Information technology has been a source of a lot of consumption lately. Everybody's got to charge their device, and in turn, that will consume something. Efficient energy management practices have contributed to a reduction in energy costs per student despite this significant increase in enrollment. In 2011, the cost per student was $280 a year, and in 2018, the cost remains down at about $225 per student, despite the increase, but a $55 decrease over the period of time per student. In reflection of our contract with Synergistic, when we began the program, we expected that our expenses and the CIP development that we would grow within our school division would put us at about $144 million over that period of time in energy expense. Our actual energy expense over the period of time was about $114 million. Thus, the program to date had generated, like I said earlier, about $27 million, and we updated this slide more recently to the $30 million where we are at now. We just like to educate while we present to you, and obviously on this slide it depicts that electricity is the largest commodity that we consume in the school division. One of the biggest goals that the Energy Management Department and the Office of Facility Services has had is how do we become a part of the schools? We can build things and we can maintain things, but how can we truly contribute to the educational process? And we believe one of the best ways, albeit we've spent the last 5 years trying to make sure people are comfortable, have a good, clean environment to learn in. We believe that lighting is one of those aspects where technology has finally rounded a curve and presents a fantastic opportunity for us to upgrade on a division-wide level. And we want to create a plan gradually that will implement LED lighting by 2023 into all schools in the school division. We believe technology that's called tunable LED is a very real benefit for the learning process. The tunable LED allows more control at the site, at the classroom, for the teacher to change the temperature, if you will, of the lighting in the classroom, which has a direct effect on cognitive function. It has a circadian rhythm. It definitely in study results has proven that it increases test scores. But I think moreover, as a father of 4, I note that when my kids are in a more subdued environment, they calm down a little bit. When they're in a more bright and light environment, they tend to concentrate a little bit more and they have a little bit more focus. So I think absent studies in general, lighting does have a definite impact on your environment. And I think as adults, we could probably agree with that. We are starting to create a pilot program. We've begun working at Mary Williams Elementary School. Mary Williams is a good pilot program because it's a sizable chunk that we can bite off, where we can affect some change, and we have a security resident at the school who's also participates with facility services, so while the work's being done after hours, we don't need to expense additional support. So it kind of made sense to fit that in there. That person is an advocate of the LED movement as well, so we're trying to do this in-house as efficiently as we can, and then bring you a proposal in the fall, which presumably will give you a plan to think about for adoption and the implementation throughout the rest of the school division, with completion by 2023. The lighting systems that we operate now, we constantly change bulbs, we have an environmental impact. The energy impact to these fixtures will reduce use 60%. So we believe they pay back for themselves almost immediately as soon as you begin putting them in. But over the cost of a year, that equates to about $2 million. So it's money we've kind of had on the table. We wanted to make sure we had a good comprehensive energy management program before we brought these additional savings to you. But we think that will just add to, in and above, make up about $7 million that we will have begun avoiding since we started this program. But these $2 million will almost immediately begin to take effect. We'll have to do some investment. I think we've got some plan in the CIP with our energy infrastructure. We can do that. We've got some partners in the private arena who are willing to donate some materials that we need. In fact, they want to be part of the educational process, and so we'll take advantage of some of those partnerships as well, and we'll put things out competitively, as we go through the process. One last point, and I didn't want to overlook it, is that we are trying to engage principals as an educational advisory panel for this process. We've already distributed the studies to 5 principals, and we're waiting feedback. Everybody's got a lot going on this time of year, but we think as soon as we can consume the data, we'll have a chance to sit down as a team, and I will meet with advisors, educational advisors, and we will meet their goals in the process. And then kind of moving on, we are continuing to try to develop a culture of sustainability. Facility Services is committed to working with student groups, PTO organizations, anyone who is really willing to contribute and roll up their sleeves towards the culture of sustainability. We use social media a lot, and we are really impressed with the amount of contribution by students. There have been some accolades for the program, but I think those more so speak to the school division's contribution as a group and as a team. No one person achieves any of these things alone. So we've done a great job. This slide right here demonstrates for you the Energy Star achievement that we have this year for sites. We continue to apply for these. So there's a lot of schools you might not see, but by the end of, say, July, they might have earned the Energy Star credential. So we'll continue to update that. And all that can be found on our website. We've been working on our website to have that as a really good source of funneling information out. And that about wraps up our presentation, but I thank you very much for listening.
Dr. Waltz. I just want to say thank you and congratulations to you on your leadership and your team's leadership. This was something that we embarked on, as you said, I think is it our 7th year, did you say?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and I remember when we first embarked upon it, there were quite a few people who were questioning whether this was the thing to do. There was an investment of money initially up front. There were people who had concerns about their comfort and so forth. And I just believe that you and your team have exceeded expectations, and the way in which you have engaged school-based leadership and different teachers. I know you have someone who's an energy specialist, so to speak, designated at every school and at every office. I think all of those things working together. And if you're someone who's interested in using tax dollars wisely, this is an amazing accomplishment. And, you know, tonight you just shared another several $1 million in unanticipated savings. I also want to applaud you and your team in terms of the way that you've worked with facilities and principals in terms of reinvesting monies that would have otherwise been used to pay higher electric bills and other consumable energy, in terms of improving the systems that we have that bring these efficiencies. And your plan for the lighting, I think, is an excellent one as well. But having been a person who's walked through many schools, and I just finished today getting through our 100th school, it's just amazing the improvements that all of you have been responsible for. So thank you very, very much.
Yes, sir. And I think that goes to, if I may, just the entire facilities services department has bought into this concept from our HVAC leadership, from the electric systems, electronic systems, custodial staff. So many kudos go to them as well for buying into the idea and giving us the room to grow.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Ms. Ralston.
Thank you. One of my schools, Minnieville Elementary School,
Yes, ma'am.
has a remodeling taking place. Now, will this new lighting be automatically placed in the school?
Some of it will be in select spaces.
Yeah,
When the
like the
design
new-
was being developed, which was actually a couple of years ago as we began that process, we had not yet finalized what fixture, what type of idea we had. We hadn't consulted with any educators really, so it was putting the cart before the horse, in my opinion, for me to kind of put my foot in the door with the design team until we really had a solid understanding of how to support it. So there are spaces such as the admin areas that might be upgraded in that plan. We're concentrating a lot on HVAC there as well. So there's a big conversion of the HVAC system, which Energy has also had a large role in helping to develop that sustainable solution for the school. So it now will mirror some of what we're doing in new construction. And we focused for so long on HVAC and our electrical systems. As we move into lighting, you know, that's going to have to breed a little bit, and we plan on getting that in quick, though.
Oh, well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Trenum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks, Brian, for the
Yes, sir.
presentation. I will say, as I was here 7 years ago, and I was one of those ones that was asking lots and lots and lots of questions. In fact, if I recall, we brought the vendor back on his second night. Yeah, he made enough money that he can earn it.
Oh, for sure.
So I am very, very happy to see the results that we're getting back on this. One question I do have with the especially with regards to the lighting upgrade program. I mean, I like the fact that your ROI starts kicking in like really fast. But are there issues depending on the age of the school? Are there issues with some of the older schools in getting that in, or are those old? Is that pretty much irrelevant to the program that you're putting in as far as the age of the schools?
Well, luckily, these have a much lower consumption rate. They're lower in wattage and amperage, so the existing electrical systems should support them. We've done some review of the switchgear systems to make sure that we've actually got, the right solution for our existing schools. And that's another reason why in some of the instances we hadn't pushed it into new construction yet, because we didn't want to force feed something into their project scope, which we didn't actually understand and know how to commission. So we believe that all schools are suited for this technology.
Excellent, thank you.
Ms. Satterwhite.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was another one of those questioners back in 2011, 2012 when we started this, and I have been absolutely thrilled to see the savings each year and how we've been able to turn it back into our classrooms as they participated and also with the savings. And that has been just a huge plus. It's been great to see this in action. I'm just curious, out of the total amount saved, I'm guessing it's out of that amount that we paid some to Synergistic per the agreement. How much do we end up paying them over the course of this? I can't remember what
35%.
35%. That's not bad compared
Right.
to the savings. Wow, thank you. Okay.
And if I may, I would say that some of the savings we're going to capture now, we
Right.
may have managed through the process to make sure that those would be fully accepted by Prince William.
Okay. And, we had talked about this when we first started the program, that once the contract was up, we could continue, and we would continue to recoup or continue to have savings, and I can see that happening. I mean, like you said, phase 2, cultural sustainability, and we've got our schools invested, and I love the lighting. In our household, we've already switched over to LED for as much as we can. We've got it continuing on some of our older fixtures on the outside, and it has made a difference. So we've seen it in our own household, and I'm looking forward to what you end up doing with the pilot program. I'm looking forward to reports on that, too, as you continue. And I do like the cautious approach, making sure you understand it before moving it
Sure.
forward. I mean, sometimes we can move too fast, and so I appreciate that because that's a better way to do it. I was just talking to a parent whose child has migraines. And very, very often, the fluorescent lighting, the buzz that can come from fluorescent lighting can be triggers for migraines.
Sure.
LED, I have never seen that kind of problem. And so from a health perspective, especially for kids who are middle school, high school age, who develop migraines, that's a health issue.
Sure.
And so we're going to be helping a large number of students in that way. So I'm looking forward to as we make those changes. But thank you all for your leadership. Thank you for your work in our schools. We've seen a little bit of this in action. There's something we just approved in consent agenda with the broiler at OP, and one of the things that was written is that we can't continue to keep the environment at a good level
Right.
inside the school if we don't replace this broiler. I'm like, okay, well, that's an example of we have to act, we have to do this, or we're going to have problems in this building this summer. But thank you for what you've done for the changes all throughout our school system. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And some to the technology, the fluorescents also have a very rapid flashing that goes along with them, and in turn does contribute again to more of the migraines. I have a son with migraines as well, and we did the same thing in his bedroom. Totally alleviated the migraines when he was studying, and we think that the light emitting diode is a much better solution for the educational environment. It'll allow less distraction.
Outstanding report. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.